Okay, so on the topic of disaster, I couldn't help but think about the ruthless fires that scorched California this past year. I would argue that natural disasters such as the, this are the most devastating, considering their nature and ability to persist. Cities resorted to evacuation to protect the people rather than the built environment. I decided to imagine the hypothetical scenario of Buffalo experiencing a fire like this and how it would affect me and the other people in the city. So basically, I described a narrative um, where it was a very, very windy day. The high of wind was about 56 miles per hour, so kind of like an extreme condition. Um, and then um, a truck crashed into a telephone pole a few blocks away from my apartment and then struck a nearby home. The transformers blew on impact with the house, and it proceeded to start a fire. Due to the high winds and close proximity of houses, the fire spread rapidly and quickly became difficult to contain. Dozens of firefighters responded to the fire, but the city issued an evacuation for the people within 10 miles of the fire. So basically, when the firefighters go to houses and like respond to these types of fires, their main goal is to extinguish and minimize the fire. Um, they use water, and they also, resort to foam when that's not working. They try to remove any type of fuel to the fire or oxidants, and try to reduce chemical flame if it's present. Um, I also explained that the city of Buffalo was in a state of emergency. There was a traffic ban near my house, which obviously this type of scenario would cause me a lot of panic, wondering if my home and my belongings were safe. Obviously, if I came home and I found like I had nothing, then that would kind of stunt my daily life. And obviously, fires that are very destructive do stun people's daily lives in great ways. Um, so I just start to describe damage. There are cones and caution tape lining the streets. Some homes are partially damaged and others are completely destroyed. Piles of debris surrounded by foundation. The air is clouded with ash as well as dusted across the remaining structures and cars. Over the next few days, the city will work to remove toxic material and help the victims of damage find temporary housing if needed. Committees will organize volunteer and donation opportunities to help the innocent people affected by this disaster and who were left with nothing. I know that I was lucky, but the others will have to make the decision to rebuild their homes or move somewhere else. Thankfully, our insurance system and the city can help people who are put in this predicament without any fault. So, obviously, there are systems in place by the government to help people rebuild and to move on from this devastation. Obviously, it's hard to prevent things like this because, obviously it was, caused by an accident, and most fires are caused by an accident and responded to properly, but it's difficult to contain, especially when there are extreme conditions such as high winds and close proximity. It's a big problem that a lot of homes are, very close together. Sometimes there's not even driveways between their homes, and if there are, they are very small. It's very easy for fires to spread in urban areas like that. But I mean, the only way to, remedy that and prevent fires from spreading rapidly would be to, rebuild and minimize homes between each other. But that would be very, very, very difficult, I would imagine, and expensive. Potentially in this scenario where, there is mass destruction, that might be an option to, prevent future fires, to rebuild in other locations and to move somewhere else. But it's most important that people are safe and that they are evacuated and that the government is able to help fight those fires and try to minimize as much damage as possible.